If you've been following me for a while, then you've likely heard me mention my short film, A Wicked Choice, but I haven't really talked about the actual process. Now that it's live on YouTube, I thought I would talk about the film and talk about everything I learned from that experience. Hey, filmmaker, it's Christian Fox here with another video for you. Today, I want to talk about the key things that I learned from making a short film. All right, let's get into it. Refine and polish your script. This one's not too surprising, but having a good script is essential. This means you should take your time when writing it. Don't rush. Take your time, write a rough draft, then get some feedback. Take that feedback, incorporate it into your next draft, and then get more feedback, and then incorporate that into your third draft. And then just keep doing that until you are really happy with what you have and until you think, you really can't do much more. Now, I'm not saying take 10 years to complete a script for a short film because ideally you don't want that to get in the way of you actually doing it, but take your time and refine it until you have something that you are really, really happy with and confident in. On the day of shooting, you can take words out or you can take pauses out, you can change words, you can change very small things around the script if something isn't working with an actor or the way they're delivering it, but you really can't make a bad script good. So make sure you take that time, refine until you're happy with the script and that you feel like, okay, now I have something I can work with. For me in my program, I ended up working on A Wicked Choice over the period of 2 years. I had an idea for one of our first assignments, liked that, and then turned that into a script. Got a lot of great feedback from the professor, refined it, got some more feedback, and then in my second semester, had a different professor who was going to be marking the actual short film. And, he took my script and gave me a lot of great feedback, and then we just kept working on it and refining it until it was ready for shooting. So really take your time to get yourself a polished script that you feel very confident in. Test your gear before shoot day. Testing the equipment you're going to be using for filming ahead of time is essential. So if you're renting equipment, make sure that you can get it a week before you're actually going to be filming so you can take some time to test everything and to make sure that not only does it work, but that it actually works within your workflow. So maybe try and do that, say a week before you're going to be filming, or even better, 2 weeks before you're going to be filming. Now, it does take some money if you're going to be doing that. And of course, you're going to have to be renting out maybe more than what you were planning, but it's well worth it. For me, I ended up renting a bunch of equipment from VizTech, and the equipment was great, but I realized that equipment was actually a little too complicated. For example, I had these very good quality microphones, and they were great. But I was like, you know what? I'm a little unsure if I'm going to be able to use them properly. We have a small crew, and they might just be too complicated. So I ended up taking that back, canceling the rental, and then ordering some Rode Wireless Go microphones, or rather some Rode Wireless Pro microphones. And they were great. They worked really well and they were much easier for me to use. But had I not rented stuff ahead of time, I would have showed up on set using that equipment and not really knowing how to properly set everything up. And then that would have just been a huge time waste for the actors because, we had a small crew and I was only able to get my actors for a couple of weekends, basically 6 days over 3 weeks. So I really couldn't spend time on the day of shooting trying to figure out how to make everything work. This is even the same for the equipment that you have and that you use every day. Just make sure that it works for you, that you know how to use it, and then again, it works in your workflow. Block what you can before filming. Honestly, blocking is one of my least favorite things ever, but it's crucial. If you can, and I know not everyone can because schedules are complicated and people are busy, but if you can, try and block everything at least 2 to 3 weeks before you're actually filming. My wife and I, we did that a couple of weeks before filming. We took a Saturday and walked through all of the scenes and blocked everything out and also put down the different camera positions. So that meant that when my actors came, on the Saturday morning, we could really just get started and hit the ground running. We could go through a scene. I could quickly walk them through what I wanted, and then we could try it and then tweak here and there. But ultimately, we had a very good foundation so that we weren't spending, hours upon hours trying to block out a scene. And making sure that everything ran efficiently was essential because I only had my actors for 3 weekends. So when they showed up in the morning, we really just had to get going to make sure that we would film everything we needed to and not waste their time. Keep cinematography and lighting simple. I know this one might be hard to hear, but really try to keep your cinematography and lighting simple. I know with A Wicked Choice, I had this idea that my first scene was gonna have all this like moody golden light pouring through the windows, think like John Wick Chapter 4, and it was just gonna be this just exquisite scene. But after trying it out ahead of time and chatting with my professor, I realized that doing so might not be so feasible, and I decided that I would just scale everything back and really just use daylight and softboxes, and that worked. Now, is my cinematography and lighting the most amazing thing ever? No, but it's good enough for the product that I was trying to make and for the level that I'm at. By trying to do too much, you run the risk of wasting all this time trying to do something that you're really not equipped for. If you have a larger crew and you want to do something super cinematic, then go for it. But if you're like me and you're just starting out and you really only have access to a very small crew, then keep things simple. Pick a song that hypes you up and calms you down. On the very first morning of filming, I remember sitting at my kitchen table thinking about all the things I had to do before my actors arrived. And while I was doing that, I started to freak out a little bit because I was like, oh, my actors are coming in a couple of hours. I've never done this before. What if something goes wrong? What if my camera doesn't work? You know, all the usual stuff. My incredible wife, seeing this, pulled out her phone and started playing I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. And honestly, it is one of my favorite songs of all time. So just hearing that song in that moment just calmed me down, put me in a better headspace, and kind of allowed me to figure out, okay, here's what I can do. Here's everything I can get done so that when they do come through that door, we can basically get ready. So if you are like me, you're just starting out and you are doing a short film for the first time and you're going to be directing it, then really try to find that song that just puts you in a good headspace because believe me, it will really, really help. But what about you? What are some of your favorite tips on this list? What are some of your best practices? Let me know in the comments below. Happy creating.